Good morning, I'm J. Lenora Bressler, and welcome to the February 13, 2019 edition of the Bible. Delight in the details as we continue our look at the life of Joseph. We're in Genesis chapter 39. When last we left Joseph, he was prospering in the house of Potiphar, very high-ranking official in the Pharaoh's service. And Potiphar is becoming almost a pseudo father figure. By the way, the reason I said that yesterday is because we're told that Joseph became his personal attendant. And that is the exact same word that would later be used to describe the relationship between Moses and the much younger Joshua. And we know that Moses saw Joshua as his rightful successor and had him in training, and really seemed to keep him very, very close. Taught him. They did things together. So that's the fact that same word is being used here, I think, is very telling about the relationship. But, it seems like all good things seem to go bad at some point. Not only was Joseph a favor with Potiphar, but apparently with Potiphar's wife, and not in a good way. Potiphar's wife repeatedly made no bones about the fact that she wanted to sleep with Joseph. We are told, by the way, interestingly, that Joseph was exceedingly handsome and fine to look at. And again, just a little interesting detail that the Bible throws in. The exact words that are used to describe how handsome Joseph was is the masculine form of the same words that were used earlier in the book of Genesis to describe his mother. And that might shine a little bit of light on why Jacob, the father, was played favorite so much with Joseph. And I've been critical of him, as you know, on former programs about this, that he set Joseph up for a bad situation, that he should have known better, and he should have known how favoritism between siblings caused problems in his own family. And yet he did it anyway. And, when I realized about this, the same words being used, my heart, to be honest, softened maybe just a little bit toward Jacob, because the implication here is that Joseph looked like his mother. And his mother, of course, was dead by now. And but we know how much Jacob loved her. And that would be hard, if you, some of us have children who look very much like our spouses. And it would be hard, I think, not to show a little favoritism when you see every day in the eyes, the face, and the hair, the body, whatever, of your child, a love that is no longer there, physically present with you. But we move on. So Potiphar's wife she was very blatant. And it's interesting that Joseph tried literally to flee from her. But the implication is also that he just completely and immediately rebuffed her on several occasions. She continuously tried to get him to sleep with her. And the Hebrew here is an immediate and consistent response of no. And he explained to her that it would be both a breach of faith against her husband, who had trusted him so much, and also, Joseph said, it would also be a sin against God. Well, neither one of those reasons stayed her hand for a moment. And one day it appears that she rigged something up so that there were no other servants in the house during the day. Now, that in itself should let you know something's up. Something has been rigged up, because you would not leave an Egyptian woman, the mistress of the house, alone. She would not ever be unattended. And yet we know that she was doing this, it appears, so that she could try to get Joseph one more time. And then, of course, she absolutely lied about him. He fled, leaving part of his clothes. The implication is it was the outer tunic. And then she said, oh, see, he was trying to attack me. I rebuffed him, and I have his clothes to prove it. Now, the fact that it's not the undergarment, but rather appears to be the tunic, the outer garment, would make anybody, and, Potiphar wasn't stupid, think, really? This doesn't really seem quite right. Interestingly, she tried to drum up dislike against Joseph within the household staff, because she said to them, when she accused Joseph, she said, see this foreign slave that our master Potiphar has brought in to oversee us. So she is playing that card as well. We are told that Potiphar did have Joseph thrown in prison, but interestingly, he had him thrown into a particular prison, that where the Pharaoh's prisoners were. This would have been like a political type of a prison, and the implication is that Potiphar tried to make it as easy on Joseph as possible. Maybe like Reuben, he had a plan that maybe someday he could rescue Joseph, who knows? But it does appear that he didn't do as badly to Joseph as he could have, which probably means that he wasn't completely buying everything that was being said, and yet maybe to keep the peace in his house and possibly his reputation and status, he had to go along, or he felt he did. It's a very sad ending to what seems to have been a very wonderful situation for Joseph at the time. The details really make it all come alive, doesn't it? We are going to leave Joseph here, wrongfully accused, put in Pharaoh's prison, not knowing what his fate's going to be. Do you feel like you're in limbo right now? Are you not sure exactly what's going to happen to you, or how you're going to solve certain problems that you might be facing? Remember where Joseph was, and remember that God had Joseph's back, even when Joseph may not have been able to see what God was doing in the background. Let us remember that today and every day. I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Visit me on the next edition of The Bible. Delight in the details. Have a great day.